Hi and welcome, everyone. It's Jennifer Britton. I want to thank you for joining me for another community call here from Potentials Realized. So, if you're new to these are one of many every month. We typically do 3 community calls a month. We usually do one on group coaching. So, last week we did a demo on group coaching, bringing to life the wheel of coaching business builder. We also do one typically on team coaching. And our third one this month is actually talking all about the team and group coaching superpowers. So, if you are new to Potentials Realized and Group Coaching Essentials, we specialize in providing training for team and group coaches. Since January of 2006, when I launched Group Coaching Essentials, our specialization has been about expanding the coaching conversation to many. Chances are you've probably met me before. Maybe you were required to read Effective Group Coaching or From One to Many as part of your coach training. So we've been around for 18 years and we continue to grow as this part of our profession continues to expand. And so one of my creative projects this year has been to pull together the team and group coaching superpower quiz. If you've been with us to take the trifecta, which is group coaching essentials, team coaching essentials, and also the advanced practicum, you'll be happy to know that our course pathway has continued to grow, just as our courses in the whole discipline of group and team coaching is expanding. So I want to share with you our December programming. You may have heard that we're now offering 2 different certificates. We have a certificate in team coaching and a certificate in group coaching. You can opt for a 70 hours of specialized training in the area of group or team coaching, or 125 hours. You might say, but I've already got coach training. Well, one of the things that's on the horizon, and we're recording this in November of 2022, is the fact that the new advanced certification in team coaching will be rolled out to ICF members in 2023. Part of that requirement will be an additional series of team coaching training. And so our 70-hour certificate, which I've talked about in past calls, but it's going to include 6 different courses. So I'm just bringing this bigger. Many of you have joined us already for group coaching essentials and team coaching essentials, and probably the advanced team and group coaching practicum. Our next 3 courses, so course 4, 5, and 6, to give you the 70-hour certificate in team coaching, are what we're going to talk about today. So course number 4 in the pathway is known as Activate Your Group and Team Coaching Superpower. And I'll talk a little bit about that program today. That's all about us and our presence as a group or team coach, how we show up as a critical part of the conversation. After that, course number 5 for an additional 14 CCEs, that is an approved CCE program, that is coaching diverse teams and groups using the work styles. And so it's useful for us to think about the type of people that we're coaching, especially in the hybrid world. And that course will be followed up with course number 6, launching in December of 2022, which is co-coaching essentials for an additional 14 hours. So altogether, that's going to give you 70.2 hours. Some of you have joined us for our historical 5-week training. Just know that over the next few months, we started it this month, but also in December, I'll be offering a number of 1 and 1.5 day intensive programs. So I hope that you'll consider joining us perhaps for the inaugural launch of Co-Coaching Essentials. That'll be the 15th and 16th of December, full day 15th and half day 16th. Or maybe you'll join us on December the 6th and 7th for a day and a half offering of Team Coaching Essentials. You can find all of these over at groupcoachingessentials.ca. If you're on LinkedIn, definitely follow me, follow Potentials Realized. You'll see our calendars there. So with that, let's dive in and talk a little bit about the team and group coaching superpower quiz. So you may have seen our monthly calendar, because part of this work is about activating your coaching superpowers. I've had a lot of fun taking our inaugural fall group through the 5-week Activate training, and they loved it. It really is an opportunity for coaches to think about who they are and how they're showing up as group and team coaches. So today is, in fact, the 15th of November. And this daily prompt is all about dialing your superpowers to 10 today. So if you don't know what your superpowers are yet, that's okay. We're going to go through the 5 different group and team coaching superpowers. And I'd like you to be thinking about what you can do to really accelerate and amplify those for the service of your clients. All of us are different and we work with different types of clients. And so in growing our range as a coach, it's really important that we think about what do we naturally leverage and what can we also do. So if you've not taken the team and group coaching superpower, I want to invite you to do that right now. It'll take you 2 minutes on your phone and you can find it at bit.ly/GT coaching superpower. Again, that's bit.ly/GT coaching superpower. And that will give you an insight, a doorway in. So in today's call, I want to take you quickly through the 5 types of the team and group coaching superpowers. In 2023, we'll be doing weekly spotlights on these as part of our training. I should say we'll do monthly spotlights. So every month, starting in January 2023, we're going to dive into, using one of our community calls, one of the superpower types. Again, this is based on really 18 years of working and training team and group coaches. And it's really been fascinating for me to see coaches grow and evolve. As coaches step in, and maybe this is you, you're stepping in and you're looking initially at growing your skills in the realm of coaching many. Or maybe you've been doing this for a long time and realize that you've hit a plateau or you have a new challenging engagement coming up. In times of change, in times of complexity, in times of, working with new groups, new teams, we tend to lean into our superpowers. So that's a bit of the backstory. And I want to take you into these 5 areas. If you have taken a quiz, twofold. Number 1, as you complete the quiz, you're going to get a part of, as you finish it, it will say, congratulations, based on what you've shared, you are likely maybe you're a grounded Labyrinth coach, or maybe you're a spiral Lighthouse coach. And that's going to give you access to a video. You should see a video come up on your screen. You'll hear me talking about that superpower, the strengths, the areas, the triggers, the enablers and derailers for about 8 to 10 minutes. Also, you should be able to download a report. Now, because we're a Canadian business, we cannot send you unfettered emails. So I will be asking you to actually sign up, give agreement to Constant Contact for that email to be delivered to you. After you've done that, we invite you, and you can do this even before you get your report, take a moment, scan this QR code. I will move myself out of the way and book a call to explore what's possible. Let's sit down and talk a little bit about your natural style and what you can do to augment this. This is the starting point of the new Amplify Your Group and Team Coaching Superpower 5-week program. Again, it's currently being reviewed for 14 hours of CCEs with ICF, and we're pretty confident that it's going to be approved because it is all about the development of you as a coach and helping you understand what you're naturally bringing and able to lean into as an instrument in your group and team coaching. So with that, here's a little bit about the program. It's been really exciting to launch this. It's a 5-week program, and we take a look at the superpowers as well as different ways to coach. So as many of you know, sometimes we're coaching for relationships, sometimes we're coaching for results. We look at that arc. We also look at how can you activate your coaching superpowers for business development and marketing. We dive into building your toolkit and talking about what are your natural styles. And as we go through these today, I'd like you to really think about what is your natural style with these. Finally, we touch on co-coaching, which in fact is part and a much deeper dive in week number 6. So we've got our lineup, and I won't go into all their names today, but these are a little different than the Digital Dozen. You'll meet them in my upcoming writing because I'm currently working on a book for group and team coaches. And why I think this is so important is because when we work with many in the coaching space, what we really can rely upon is ourselves, whether it's just you with the group or whether it's you and a co-coach together. That is what you're leaning into, and understanding who you are individually or who you are as a co-coaching team becomes so important. Trust, safety, and connection, as you know, is a critical part of the coaching conversation. And so, how do you look to activate this? So, as we go through this, I'd like you to think about who you naturally are. And in your circle of coaching friends, who else are you working with? What do they need? And we're going to actually start with the grounded labyrinth coach. What's interesting in the initial data from the initial sort of subset, several hundred actually, the grounded labyrinth coach is the least frequent coach. But as I describe them, I think you'll know why, because these are really the coaches who take presence to that next degree. They are there holding the space, creating the space for exploration, for pause, for renewal, and also for just being. So in this space, we have two of our G Lab coaches. We have Mindy, who actually works in marketing, but she's also a yoga instructor. And she very much has this gift, which she brings to groups and teams that she works with, the ability to create that pause. So grounded labyrinth coaches, their focus as coaches primarily, and again, we may have a primary, secondary, and tertiary style. So think about this. This might in fact be you, maybe not as a primary style, but a lot of grounded labyrinth coaches focus in on the being. Who are you? Who are you as a client? How are you showing up in your leadership role? The grounded labyrinth coach does an amazing job in really creating that pause point so that their clients can go deep into exploration. And I would think, and it would be interesting to hear your thoughts on this, but certainly we're seeing that in today's world, focusing on well-being, focusing more around support after burnout, after change, transition, with all the flex that's on the go. I think this is probably the one coaching style that all of us, myself included, can be learning to cultivate more. And the grounded labyrinth coach can look like many things, presence and mindfulness. And even as mindfulness coaches, how are we showing up? What are we doing to really activate elements in terms of who you are and what pause you are creating? I'm going to leave you with that. And if you're interested in learning more in the new year, we will have a call all about the grounded labyrinth coach. We spend more time in the Activate program really looking at this, looking at how do we practice and activate mindfulness. And I'd like you to really think about what's a tip or a suggestion for incorporating more of this grounded labyrinth coach approach in your work. Again, fluidity is key. And when I say fluidity is key, what that means is we want to make sure that we're able to amplify and activate all our different subsets. Perhaps you're like, that's not me. Well, is there a part of you that can really create a pause? In my work as a writer, I really like to use reflective pause points where people have, say, a couple of minutes to work through a question. And that allows us to really look at different ways. So here's a YouTube video if you're interested in, check it out. And I'm going to move on from Grounded Labyrinth to Catalytic Firecracker. As you can imagine, these might seem to be on opposite ends, but in fact, I think there's something that we can activate in us in different ways. And the Catalytic Firecracker, we've got Marva and we've got Matt. And as you can even see by how they dress, like I think very much, not to pigeonhole people by any means, but I think we show up in different ways. You might notice a Catalytic Firecracker by their rate of speech. Right? So maybe think about what I might be or have as part of my DNA as a coach. And their coaching priorities as a Catalytic Firecracker are usually around goals, results, and action. Right? That's why they're called the Catalytic Firecracker. They like to get things started. They like to have some boldness. And the Catalytic Firecracker can be such a great complement to the grounded labyrinth coach. So again, in the realm of coaching many, we now may be co-coaching. And this might not be something that you've started thinking about, but this is why, and in part of why I've created the Superpower quiz to help co-coaches also navigate by thinking about who are they not only individually, but who are they together. And the catalytic firecracker coach may naturally be thinking about activating that fireworks, right? How do we get things banging? How do we get them going? How do I create a view? How do I create some interest? And so in their world, their focus areas as coaches may be around goals, activating people, getting them moving, looking at the quick wins. They may also be looking at things like your KPIs or your OKRs. KPI, of course, key performance indicators in an organization. OKRs, more from the tech sector, objectives and key results. And of course, catalytic firecrackers are often about metrics. Let's look at where we are and where we want to be and what's that gap in the middle. Catalytic firecracker coaches are bold, and they may use measurement and metrics as part of the way to get their clients, the teams and groups they work with, from A to B. So if you're a catalytic firecracker, make sure you're downloading your report. If anyone needs a copy of the reports, this is where I invite you, again, go back, scan the QR code, let's set up a call. Email, unfortunately, is really hard, or you can go back to the email. So the system actually should have generated an email for you saying, congratulations, you're a catalytic firecracker coach. And that would come from the Bucket.io software. If you have not seen it, check your bulk and spam filters. My guess is that's where it's gone, because I've set it up so that even if you choose not to sign up, you will get a push of one email from the Bucket.io software, which is a quiz software, saying, congratulations, you are this type of coach. I really enjoyed pulling these reports together. You're in fact going to learn more about these different styles in my upcoming writing. And more importantly, it's about you. Like, how do you show up? What is important for you? So we've looked a little bit at the grounded labyrinth coach. We've also looked at the catalytic firecracker coach. Again, catalyze, get things going. And even by moving to our third phase, I think you can feel it. You can see it. It's a little bit different. So we're leaving the land of the red and the yellow into this lush space of the green. And our third type of coach is known as the ecosystem connector. And the ecosystem connector coach very much is about finding connections. Even notice the circularity, notice the lushness. Think about what ecosystem means. If you read Coaching Business Builder, right? 2018, I go into my story as, and it's not just my story, but I did my initial training as a professional. My graduate work is actually in a master's in environmental studies. Well, for the last 18 years, I haven't worked directly in that. I still very much am connected into the realm of sustainability, environmental resource management, biodiversity, climate change. In fact, I had the privilege of working very closely with organizations 2 decades ago to develop their national policy frameworks and legislation. And so this is part of who I am. And I think very much, if we think about ecosystems, it's always important to remember that they're interconnected. If you join me for any calls during the pandemic, I was sharing a statement I used saying, no person is an island. And even though we might have felt that we were alone, other than a few islands in the world, and it's a couple of coral islands in Australia and Barbados, most islands are deeply interconnected underground, under the waterline. And that's the notion of the ecosystem connector coach. They bring such an amazing superpower of connectivity. And so we've got Jeff as one of our ecosystem connectors. He's actually a VP, and he is all about connecting on a relationship level. His colleague is more of an ecosystem connector on a resource level. And so notice that we can have different types of ecosystem connectors. Their priorities as they go and coach their groups, coach the teams that they're working with, they'll have a natural affinity to be looking for and listening to relationships, emotions, the arc of emotions. And a big part of their work may be in enhancing awareness, whether it's systems awareness, relational awareness, or connectivity awareness. That's a really big super strength that they're bringing to the conversation. Ecosystems are all about systems, right? It's about looking outside. It's about thinking about our stakeholders. It's about thinking about the people we work with internally and externally. It's not only about thinking about the direct customer or client or consumer, but many would argue and assert that we want to think about that 7 generational thinking. That's at the heart of sustainability. How do we approach work, life, living in ways in which our impact will have, hopefully, a positive impact, not just on our next generation, but on multiple generations going forward? And so the ecosystem connector coach can really bring that presence. They can bring that lens. They can bring perhaps a multitude of those questions to help groups, teams explore stakeholders, systems, people, ideas, and emotions. There's a lot more to this depth. And I hope that as you think about the ecosystem connector, or the econ, as we're talking about it, that you'll dive into your report. Now, I have had a few of you email, especially around the econ coach, saying, I didn't get the report. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I can always bounce you a copy of that report. Go ahead and set up a call. So our fourth type, again, we're moving now out of the world of the ecosystem up to the land of the spiral lighthouse coach. And if you can envision, just close your eyes for a moment, bring to light a lighthouse. What you see on this photo is the inner side of a lighthouse. But if you can imagine what a lighthouse stands for, it's that safety spot. It's the beacon, perhaps, of hope. It's also the alert to those out in the water, the sailors, the people in their boats, that, you know what, danger might be afoot. So the spiral lighthouse coach, if you can think of that metaphor, is all about building trust, safety, and connection. They're about creating that safe harbor for conversations that need to be had. And so as we're going to look at Kashira and our other coaches in the Spiral Lighthouse, they really bring this amazing ability of helping groups and teams unlayer issues. That's part of their DNA. It's part of the way they approach things. So if you imagine that you're going up the staircase and you're looking through that window, that little portal that you see there midway up, as you go riser to riser to riser, you're going to see a new way of looking through that portal. New information is going to be coming attuned. And often that's what we're doing in our coaching conversations, creating a pause for people to look at things through different perspectives. So their priorities are really about creating new awareness. It is about creating a safety, trust, and connection, and giving people perhaps a meta view, or at least helping develop that awareness of where you are in the system in which you operate. Often we use this term that they bring the 360 view, right? They're able, if you imagine going up to the top of the lighthouse, they're able to use that lighthouse beam to get the full spectrum. You can think of that as the full spectrum of light, or the full 360-degree view, right? Think about that when you get up tall, whether you're in a lighthouse or here in Toronto at the CN Tower, right? What I'm always amazed when I go to the CN Tower, which used to be one of the world's most freestanding, tallest buildings in the world, you become so aware as you're looking out at the expansive view. And at least in the CN Tower, which you wouldn't have in a lighthouse, you can't see through the back of it. In a lighthouse, you can see all around. So is there a metaphor here of what you're not seeing? Is there a metaphor to invite you to expand that view? And again, if we're looking at the realm of teams these days, I think that is a really important area. The Spiral Lighthouse coach is also going to dig into things like the iceberg model. So if you have Plan, Do, Track or Reconnecting Workspaces, you'll have seen my iceberg model of coaching, where we want to bring people metaphorically below the waterline to dig not only into their behaviors and results, but into their mindsets, into their belief systems, into their values and vision. And that helps us really activate new ideas. So Spiral Lighthouse number 4, and we're going to leave a few minutes for our last one, which is a creative toolmaster. So just like all the bright colors here, the creative toolmaster is an alchemist. They're really good at mixing things together to getting that creative spark happening. And again, using their palette to create new insight. So they are all about looking at above and below the waterline. They're often on a quest for resources. And the C tool, as we call it, the Creative Toolmaster, will be about exploring culture. Their focus areas are multifold. They're about creating a safe stretch zone to help people get out of perhaps their regular day into this space of play. And we do know that play is so important in today's world. These are the coaches who are creative. They may be activating somatic approaches. At least they'll activate kinesthetic approaches. So whether it's painting or drawing or just play in general, the Creative Toolmaster coach gets us in touch with areas that we might also not be looking at. So with that, I hope that you have thought through your style at a deeper level today. There's a part 2 to this, which we won't dive into, but it is going to be the part of our co-coaching essentials programming, which is then, if you are this, who do you want to partner with? Again, we know our most important collaborations are collaborations where we partner with others who are different than ourselves. That creates opportunity to grow and expand our range, but it's also an opportunity to really think about what else will help. What else will help support the diverse needs which exist in a group or a team coaching program? That's all I have for you today. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Again, collaborative superpowers are really key. So how are we activating these as we go? I hope that you have had some interest in this topic to look at our team and group coaching certificates. So there's a certificate in team coaching, one in group coaching. If you've joined us already for group coaching essentials, team coaching essentials, and the advanced practicum, which we call the trifecta, hopefully you'll join us next for this next triad. That's number 4, course 4 in our pathway, activating your team and group coaching superpowers. I will be offering that in 2 ways. I'm personally leading this program now going into early 2023. I'll be offering the next 5-week group on Friday morning, starting Friday, December the 2nd. That'll be at 10:15 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and we'll run for 3 weeks in December. Take a 2 to 3 week break over the holidays and resume the end of the week of the 9th. I think if you've really been intrigued by today, let's set up a call. Again, you can simply go to calendly.com/Jen Britton with 2 N's, or you can use the QR code that you saw at the start of this meeting. After our, activating, which is about you may then want to turn your gaze to course number 5, which is then about coaching diverse teams through the work styles. And my body of work last year was all about the hybrid work styles, which we've reframed. We've had, again, thousands of people take that. And we can also see different work styles in the teams and groups that we're coaching in organizational settings. So knowing our superpowers, then how do we dial up, dial back the needs to really meet the needs of our superpowers, of our coachees styles? Finally, our 6th course towards the 70 hours is co-coaching essentials. And for anyone who is doing work as a team coach, this piece around co-coaching is absolutely essential. So for more information, set up a call, or you can head right on over to groupcoachingessentials.ca. I know that it's a busy time of year, but we really look forward to setting up a conversation before we close on the 22nd of December. So note that we will be closed this year. We hope that everyone will be renewing and enjoying a holiday. Our doors will reopen on January 9th with the kickoff of our winter 2023 programming. So with that, groupcoachingessentials.ca. Hope you enjoyed this. Do leave a comment, leave a like if you're watching this, and thank you. It's always been a pleasure, and we look forward to bringing to you more calls around this topic, deeper dives in 2023. All right, everyone, be well and take care.